Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to your Monday night live stream. I'm your host, Sir Ashley, and we're going to talk about, well, on this channel, we talk about Carolina, we talk about real estate, we talk about finances. And today, we're going to touch on something that we typically don't touch on, but we're going to touch on it on how it relates to real estate and how we've seen it impact lives recently. And it is relationships, separation, divorce, and real estate. What to do here in the Carolinas, because both North and South Carolina, although they're neighboring, there's little different idiosyncrasies you have to do regarding each state and different pitfalls you have to look out for regarding each state. Now, I have to preface this is not legal advice. This is just coming from years of experience from this panel dealing and helping clients navigate through these kind of circumstances. And I would like to bring on my brother. How you doing, Danny?
What's going on, my brother? We
I'm
back.
doing well. Thank you for coming back. I also have Sheila
Hey.
with a different camera setup. I like a different layout. I like it.
It complements my complexion.
You
It
definitely
does.
do.
It does.
It does. It does. And Shantae, how you doing?
Fabulous.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, as always, can you give me all your information in the chat, and I'll make sure that your information is in the comment section. If you want to reach out to either any of these individuals, the information will be in the chat. Give me 1 second. Oh, Sheila came prepared today.
I know. I
She
said,
came prepared. Sheila had like 2 lines last time. She looked very, very homely.
Yeah, I was
Now,
stumbling. I couldn't find my information. But
Did you say homely is your description? She looked very homely. Pause.
description. No.
Let's start
not
over.
when I'm glowing today.
You
You're
do
not
not
gonna call
refer
me
to my
homely.
girl.
No.
Look, I mean the way when I asked for the information last time, it looked very anemic. It was just her like, my name is Sheila.
First
This
of
is
all,
my
you know
number.
I have a medical condition. You know I have low iron. So that was a jab.
Well, both of y'all are glowing today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Danny. Danny to the rescue. All right. So I have Sheila's information in the chat. I have Shantae's. Feel free to reach out to them regarding any real estate things. All of us do residential. We dabble in commercial. Sheila does a lot of commercial. You see all those flyers out there? Those envelopes? That's the business owners and whatnot. So Sheila's is on it. That's a expensive
The
bottle
best
of
setup.
champagne back there too.
So we was gonna that's okay.
It
was a gift.
champagne.
It was a
It was-
gift from someone who used to be a very, very good friend of mine.
And wait a minute. That very good friend of yours,
Mhm.
I have never received a gift from.
And that's why he's not that good of a friend anymore, because I found out, he's sometimes, he's not like that fair weather friend.
Fact.
We did get a lot
I
of
can
stuff when
relate
we was
to
the
this.
Harrison group.
I'm sorry, what did he say?
We did get a lot of perks when we was the Harrison group.
I don't know those days.
Yeah, that's true. I was saying you were around, but you weren't part of the group. You were a neighbor at that point.
Oh, I was curious to say, how was I around?
Yeah, you were a neighbor. You were a neighbor.
Okay.
And Shantae apparently no makeups, so he's not going to do anything just because you weren't around. All right.
No. So
What's the topic?
the topic is relationships, real estate after separation and divorce, and how it impacts real estate and the different things you need to consider, you need to really focus on and do when you're separating or divorcing and you have real estate, and the different, I don't know, avenues in which you can dispose of the real estate or keep the real estate, and how it is both. Many people don't really factor in the emotional aspect of it, and how it can take a huge toll on it, and then coming to a home day after day where this is where you envision being with that partner. So just wanted to touch on that. I know I've had some clients deal with that in the past. Some clients just sell, living at a home. Sheila, you had an example. I know you wanted to share later regarding a client, somebody you know. But I would say, what would you say? I mean, the toughest question is what happens to the house? Danny, in your experience, like what happens to a house during a separation or divorce? And there's different scenarios. Let's say this scenario is they both own the house. They bought it together.
The question is, and there's different scenarios on the route you can go.
Yeah.
However, right now with this market, so for instance, if you purchased a home, let's say in 2020, when the numbers were down, you know, you built so much equity in that home that now you have to figure out which spouse is going to either come up with that other half of the equity to pay you out. One, are they able to afford to refinance by themselves to get that equity out and pay you? Or do you both have to sell the home and get your equity split both ways, and then you both go into newer and greener pastures? Well, I mean,
What is
maybe
Time
greener
out. But
pastures for one.
Shante gave a laugh
Wait.
over there. Like, was it
The
something you
marriage
said?
is over.
Was
Let's
it
go on to
something you said?
greener pastures because it was like cow manure over there.
Yeah, that did sound like this is going with that.
Real
What's
quick,
going
real quick,
on, people? What's
before we
going
move
on?
on, if you all have any questions or comments regarding this subject or real estate in general, please leave them in the comment section. That's what we're here for. We want to address things that are impacting you, the viewer, and this is something that has been impacting quite a few of our clients as of late. So we wanted to, I mean, it's a real life situation. So we wanted to bring it to you because if we have people experiencing it, more than likely you or you know somebody that has gone through it or going through it as well. And we'd like your perspective too. And while I am a non-practicing attorney, this is not legal advice by any means.
Yeah, I was actually at a conference last week and was actually speaking with someone regarding this exact issue. That they both did have to sell. This was their forever home, their perfect home. You know, so she was definitely attached to the home, and she purchased this home prior to, and like I said, they had a lot of equity built into it. However, now being a single, a single mother, she's unable to afford that same house in that same area. So now she's looking to go on the outskirts, which is now going to almost quadruple her drive to work, is based on her affordability at this point.
No, and that's one thing you have to factor in, like as far as not just a commute to work, right? Now we're talking about how is it impacting the children,
Yeah.
uprooting the children from the schools and everything like that. Definitely something we need to consider. Definitely need to consider. Now, either one, Shantae, Sheila. Now, what happens to the house if, um, let's say, the husband owns it? It's just in one of their names. What's the recourse there?
Definitely, if it depends on the state you're in. But for
Mhm.
North Carolina, if you are married during that time, you're going to need their approval to get out of that loan or that house.
Mm-hmm.
So
1 to buy, 2 to sell.
correct.
You need to repeat that again.
1 to buy, 2 to sell. So although he may be or she may be on the loan, it takes both of them to sell that property. So it's not just the person on the loan. Especially if the spouse is on the deed.
Correct.
So both are entitled to the equity or the home.
Yeah. So like in the state of North Carolina, for instance, regardless of when you purchased a home, once you become married, that now becomes both of y'all.
Yeah.
Now, if you are, and Sheila mentioned it earlier, if you're on the deed of a home, So say, for instance, you just buy a home by yourself and you're married. When that closing attorney runs that information, that spouse name will be on the deed, even though they're not on the loan. So if you look into the public records, it will say wife or husband of in those documents, and she or he is entitled to 50% if you don't have something in your divorce decree or in a trust.
No.
No, most definitely. Now, what happens? What about so this is something I'm not licensed to practice law, and I didn't study the bar in South Carolina. In South Carolina, if is it the same way in the sense of because South Carolina is a little different when it comes to when they're looking at separating things, marital property and separate property, property you have prior to the marriage. Uh, is that the same thing? As soon as you're married, it becomes both that you're aware of, and then it takes two to sell.
I do believe so. I know in South Carolina it's a little bit different
Mm-hmm.
because even in South Carolina, it's common law marriage after a set amount of years. So anybody that move over that gun line, make sure you understand at that
The
point
gun line.
y'all are married. So don't pass the gun line, boss.
So this is where it gets a little tricky.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a little tricky. As of technically, common law marriage doesn't exist anymore in South Carolina, technically.
Uh-huh.
But in practice, in 2019, they did away with it. But it's very hard. Most of these judges, if you look at most attorneys, they're very old, right? Yes, they will follow the law, right? But I mean, I'm going. If we look at, do you see the Murdoch case?
Mm-hmm.
You saw it, Shante? Like
Yeah,
all those
you're
attorneys
just
in there
sitting
were
there
old.
watching
They're old.
documentaries.
Most attorneys are old, right? There's a young set, but most of them are old, especially that practice family law and real estate law in
Okay, I can see that.
different
Yeah.
parts of South Carolina. Um, while that is the law, as far as it's no longer common law marriage, they will look and see what was accumulated while y'all were together,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though marriage was not technical, hasn't been.
Well, if she can take half based on when y'all purchased it, that's married.
Yes, yes, yes. Now we talked about. I mean, obviously, if everybody's in a great financial position, it'll be much easier. And I mean financial position. I mean can afford it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Credit score is something that we need to consider, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not just afforded credit score, the debt to income, the DTI. Because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you can quote unquote afford something, right? You know what you can quote unquote afford, but if you have both cars in your name as well, how does that impact your debt to income when you also want to take on this home and refinance it and put it in your name?
Now, I definitely think Sheila had a great scenario based off this topic
Hmm.
with her client that she was familiar with.
Yeah. So I have a client who was a stay-at-home mom for years. Then went back to school, got a degree, started in the workforce, and now her and her husband are thinking about separating. And in that situation, she is not on the loan, but is on the deed. So it came down to, who leaves the marital home during the separation period. The person who pays all the bills now, the person who the loan is in their name, or my client. And it's so many variables in that situation that we have to consider and navigate. It's
It
a
is.
lot emotionally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also trying to find the right choice financially for her. Although she is doing pretty well now financially, and credit is good. But again, this is something that she has to now take on, all financial responsibilities in terms of her finding a place if that's the direction that she wants to go in. So, which I guess this topic is probably good for her to kind of listen in on,
Yeah.
because if you don't have the right professional helping you navigate through those, like Danny mentioned, the market is different than it was in 2020, and the interest rates are different. So all those things, we have to take into consideration.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, either it's not. It has to come to some type of agreement on who is moving out and who is staying. It's not just because I purchased this house and it's in my name and I'm on the deed, but we're married, so I'm on the deed as well. So it doesn't matter who the loan is in.
No.
You both are entitled to stand there. So either you come to an agreement, or you in one room and I'm in the other room.
Yeah, and I think now in
But
2025.
real quick, I think we need to acknowledge this comment. Wow, look, our beautiful sisters and their hairstyles.
Thank you, Barbara.
I got a lineup for you today, Miss Barbara.
That was Friday.
No, I think we definitely have to acknowledge the fact that now in 2025, stay-at-home moms are considered just as valuable as being in the workforce, holding down the home, raising the kids, a lot of things that they do to contribute in the household. So I think we are, kind of past that thinking that just because she or he did not work, that they're not entitled, or they didn't build the home that they raise their family and reside in.
And I think a lot of men truly understood what the wife goes through during COVID when them kids had to stay at home.
Yeah.
When them kids
I
were at home all day,
now
you couldn't go
understand
out.
what the wife goes through, the partner, and teachers.
Yeah.
Like teachers, oh my goodness, we don't pay
Yeah.
them enough. We
No,
don't
we
pay
don't
them
pay
enough
them
At
enough.
all.
No.
At all.
Like, man.
But I was going to say also, when trying to decide who's going to stay in the house, once again, I'm not a practicing attorney, but especially in North Carolina, you have to deal with the issue of abandoning the home. So you definitely need to work with legal counsel and a real estate agent at the same time.
Yes.
Definitely to have that open line of communication working both ways. Now, as we are talking about working through it, and we talk about it being a different market, when we talked about it being a different market in terms of equity and having all this equity when you bought it in 2020, but let's talk about right now, right? If you're going through a separation, going through a divorce, and trying to sell the house right now, these are some of the conversations I believe I'm about to bring up, a couple that I believe we need to have, or the couple should have, because who's going in this market, while everybody would like their home to sell immediately, what does it look like if the home sits on the market 90 days? Which party is going to be responsible to pay that mortgage, to pay those bills, have that upkeep, right? And then the cleaners, right? And if one party's living in there at the time, that could be a lot to make the home ready if they have kids and everything like that every time there's a showing.
Yeah.
So like that's part of the conversation if you're getting a separation, getting a divorce, that needs to be had as you put your home on the market. Because while we hope for the best, I want you to prepare for that. Might be 4 months of mortgage that you're holding on to, and nobody thought that, everybody thinking about the profits that they may be receiving, but nobody's thinking about the debits that are going out during that time frame.
Yeah.
And
so I guess what you're saying is, in some cases, selling first is ideal, but sometimes because the home is sitting on the market, that I guess maybe possibly buying first or maybe bridge financing or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can talk on that because I actually had a client look into that. Now, yes, everybody's situation is a little different, but even when
Mm-hmm.
you talk about bridge financing, like that's taking about 25% of your profits right there,
And
Yeah.
right?
not even just that. You mentioned it earlier. Is when one person moves out, like we see a lot of times where a client to get a pre-approval, and that pre-approval will always show their max. And this is why I try to educate clients on, let's try to not go to your max, because this is the max combined. So if y'all separate and you got to move out, now you're going to pay rent.
Mm.
Y'all could together, this is what y'all can afford. So how can you solely afford it, when that other party moves out? So this is a lot of conversations, and not even just that, you're also looking at when you purchased. So I mean, so if you purchased something last year and you trying to sell it this year, it ain't no profits on the table right now for that.
You're more than likely losing money once you add in all the fees and everything,
Yeah.
But
right?
Danny and I were talking about this subject last week, and how a lot of times realtors will get the pre-approval and they would say, "Oh, you get 450 is your pre-approval. That's your max." Well, that's not even including your expenses of the gym, vacation, makeup, food, and all these other things. Don't even start there. So when you're at the max, it's not necessarily a good thing for you.
No.
Yeah.
So when you just again, this is sort of on topic, but when you go into buying a home as a couple or thinking
Mm-hmm.
about buying a home or having a living arrangement, you not now, granted, this is easier said than done because I see the pre-approvals, right? I see clients talk to them, and a lot of times you need that dual income to
Mm-hmm.
even be able to get pre-approved for that house in that neighborhood you want for the kids to go to school. So this is might be wishful thinking, but ideally you want one spouse's income to cover all the bills,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
like all of them.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah,
with that.
me too.
Ideally, no,
Cover, pay, however you want to put
All of
it,
it. Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
it. Go ahead.
Carry on. I like this subject.
uh, uh, no, I didn't say which person, which partner.
But we
I,
knew
I
what you
want I
meant.
want all my bills paid for too. Then don't wouldn't you want
If
I,
you
I
all
would
your
keep
like
bills paid
working,
for?
all your bills will be paid for too.
Exactly.
If I'm
Work.
working, all my bills will be paid for.
Your job will provide.
It will.
But ideally, one party would cover all the bills in the household. And then the other partner you can use for savings, for investments, and just putting it away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we're still working in tandem. That one party is not just blowing it on makeup and food and goldfish, stuff like
DoorDash.
that.
Yeah, because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
DoorDash.
I wouldn't mind being, Stedman.
Amen. Amen.
One of the rare ones. Yeah.
You know,
So yeah, so I mean, that's it. Again, it's idealistic, but in order to put yourself in a safe position, because in this uncertain time right now, just in the economy, I mean, if we're being real, if you just look at numbers, in the first half of this year, over 200,000, and this is the demographic I know, so I'm gonna just break it down. Over 200,000 Black females got laid off
Mm. Mm.
with DEI and everything like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
so if that's the case, that burden is going somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
right? And putting people behind the eight ball if these bills or financial expenses weren't allocated properly or divided as we just mentioned just now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and I mean, that was a
just
big,
think something to think about. Something to think about.
yeah, that was a big thing, with that.
Hold on, Sheila, do you need me to remove you so you can go?
Yes, because the son don't want me to be great. Can you just
I got you.
So
I love her.
So
I
I,
love
I
her.
was listening to a podcast, which I do often, and they brought up, the DEI and people losing their jobs. And what really stood out is when they start talking about the Essence Festival down in New Orleans and how bad it was doing, and the BET Awards as well. They're didn't even take that didn't happen. And a lot of these stuff that happened with the DEI, it actually affected a lot more people than we're aware, and it's not just African Americans.
No.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of like they were talking about Vegas, how it took such a tourist hit this past year.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sheila, welcome back. And because
Sheila looks so dejected right now. She looks so
Oh, it's
backstory for
glowing.
everybody out there. I know we have about 15 people. Backstory for the people out there. Like, she came in before we got started. She was so amped. She changed her setup around. She had the lighting just how she wanted it, because the past couple of weeks
Yeah, I look washed out. I looked a little sick.
She looked heterosexual.
But I was glowing today. It was like
you was sis.
You were glowing.
You're still glowing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but not that. No, now
it's a
like
different type of glow
dragon glow, like the yellow glow. No. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, I'm my fault. You said you're talking about Vegas, right?
Vegas. Yeah, Vegas. How it looks like a ghost town now compared to what it used to look like, because it was so expensive. I remember the last time we went, my glass of wine for like 4 ounces was $18.
Yeah, my sis, that ain't gonna do it.
The shot that was just thrown.
Time out. If we really know her, she has a glass in front of her right now.
Do you?
Water.
Okay.
You don't know
Barbara
me, bro.
says hello.
You don't know me. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Barbara says hello, Danny.
Hello, Miss Barbara.
My wonderful and blessed brother, Danny. There you go.
Miss Barbara is so sweet.
Now, I do want to invite anybody that's in the Charlotte area to come out Thursday night, the 21st, to the clubhouse at 6 o'clock. I know I can count on all three of you to be there.
But let's make sure we let them know this is an actual bar and not just like a club, like we ain't no motorcycle game.
But we're at the bar drinking it up.
I don't know which one is worse. I don't know which one I want to go for, right? But it's at the clubhouse on Central Ave. It's a lounge spot bar where it's an industry night. It's an industry night where industry professionals around the Charlotte area were getting together, hosted by Lifestyle. And we're also going to acknowledge some of the top producers and standout agents for the last 2 quarters. On Thursday night, the 21st. So come on out, 6 o'clock, the clubhouse. I can't think of it, Danny. I know you're typing over there. The address for the clubhouse, I know it's on Central Avenue, 28205.
It's 2308 Central Avenue.
Or they can look up the penthouse. The penthouse.
And penthouse, and then the clubhouse is right there. Yeah, clubhouse is right there. I say come early. Parking is interesting. So come on early. Thank you. There we go. Now, I didn't hear a resounding confirmation that I can depend on all of you all to be there on Thursday. Starts at 6.
It does.
Bria, I don't think anybody has any basketball games or practice or anything like that.
Let me check my calendar.
Oh, you back glowing? That sun went down.
The sun went down. Sun went down. Yeah.
I see it.
I like it. So in today's market right now, Danny, if you're going through a divorce, separation, what would you do? Would you list the property? But what would be the determining factor to determine if you're going to list it, rent it out to Airbnb? Like, what would be the determining factor? Given, I know.
For me, it'll be all about how much equity we have in the home.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the biggest thing.
Now, what is equity, if you don't mind?
So equity is how much you owe versus how much the home is valued at. We've seen a huge equity increase in this market over the last 3 to 4 years. So everybody noticed that with their property tax this year. But I think that's really the biggest thing, is once you get in, separating, you have to realize, like, okay, are we going to list this house? Can any one of us afford it solely? Because I mean, if two people are breaking up, we ain't just splitting how much the house is, how much we paid for it.
Correct.
We both want the equity, and we want it now. I mean, as we know, a lot of these times the divorce is not amicable, or that you see different sides of people at that point in life.
Yeah.
So you really have to have that conversation. It sometimes can be a tough conversation with your partner. So you may need a mediator to calm it down. But if you can have that conversation, y'all need to figure out what's best for you, the other spouse, and the biggest thing here is the children. Are you going to say, you know what, I'm going to leave, or one party leave so the kids are not uprooted? Because a lot of times, if you have, especially with this market we're in versus where we were, you may not be able to afford to live in the same area code or area that you are in that would allow you to have your kids remain in the schools that they're currently in. So I mean, you have to really look into that and have that conversation. I like the first logo at the top.
Which brings the question, like, so what is the best neighborhood?
Yeah, the Harrison,
Charlotte, for a fresh start.
Depending on
best neighborhood for a fresh start.
Yeah,
it depends. It really depends on your budget. I believe everybody's budget, like fresh, like, again, it's all relative. It's all relative. And my thing is, like Danny said, the biggest thing is for the kids. Like, you don't want it to be a total shock to the kids. If they're used to being in an area with a grotto and a pool, right? And then they go, and at the separation, they go into Hidden Valley. Like, that's a shock that.
But Hidden Valley
they
came up.
It has changed.
It came up.
It has changed. It has changed.
Do we want the safe and affordable suburban picks? Do we want uptown walkability? Or do we want Sugar Creek? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we can just really look at it and really see based on like some of the newer construction in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Like, you have an amazing community right there. It's some townhomes right there on Brookshire from Meritage. That's in that low threes. That get you, still close to everything. And then you have other areas where you get closer to downtown, some of the better school districts, but you're in the forest with those. And I mean, it's some of the same builders in these areas. So I mean,
sometimes it's the same exact house. It's just 2 miles away.
Oh yeah, we see that a lot. I mean, I was just in a house in Cherryville that's under $299. That house in Charlotte is actually $450.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. Give me 1 second. I know we got C-Star says, think of the children and right on that budget, bro. No, thank you. Definitely have to factor in the kids when making this decision and making this move, because as adults, like, I mean, regardless of the circumstance, like, we can handle it. Like, we have a say in what's going on. The children pretty much are at the will of the adults, right? So like we got to put them first in this process. And when we're thinking about what is quote unquote equitable or fair and the proceeds and everything like that, it really comes down, in my opinion, the children. The children.
Yeah.
Now, also though, this is where it gets another. I'm just about to add another layer into it, where I I get it. It's all about the children. If the children are all between both parents, if you're a parent of both, the children have both the same parents, right? And then it's very easy to be like, okay, I'm looking out for my kids, regardless of what happens, right? But when it comes down to it, and I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, come down to it, and one spouse comes into the relationship with the kid, and now they're breaking up. Does the husband or wife feel the responsibility, have the better responsibility, have to look out for that other kid financially and divvying up property and various things like that? So it's just one of those things that, again, in an ideal world, everything's nice and neat and everything like that. But that's not reality, unfortunately.
Yeah. And a
We
lot of
gotta, we
times
gotta,
it's like that.
yeah, you have to factor that in. And then we also want to make sure we look at, when we put the home on the market and you're trying to sell it or you're thinking about selling it, a lot of homes, and this is what I've seen, I'm not sure what you've seen, there's a lot of deferred maintenance on homes because, yes, they got a lot of equity, right? But they may be cash poor. So there's a lot of deferred equity. So in order to get top dollar for that property, there's going to have to be a lot of work put in, or some work put into that property, whether it be anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 to put in the property to get it sold, right? But then in this market, you just put in $7,000, and then you're going to also hold it for 3 months. Like, what does that look like? And make sure you have that agreement written up if one party's fronting those expenses to get the home ready for the market. How is that? How are they going to be compensated for that? And then if it doesn't sell, and then the person that's living in it gets the benefit from all the new stuff that the other person put in.
Why do I feel like you're looking at Sheila and I? I feel like
one, obviously, I'm not. I'm looking at both of you. The camera's right here. I'm looking at both of you right
but
here.
you weren't looking at your bro. But go ahead.
I'm looking at the screen.
Carry on. Carry on.
Like, how is that money, like what kind of, are we putting it on a payment plan? How is that money being repaid back? Like, what's going on here? Like, how is that money, how is that other party recouping from this? Right? Is going to be interest involved? Like, it's just one of those things.
I think as long as it's not hitting your credit in a negative way and you walk out of it with equity and let the courts handle the rest of that. Keep your emotions out of it.
You see that? You see that smile? That is not how it would ever go.
Never.
You're gonna burn
keep your emotions out of it. Keep your emotions out of it. My question for you all is, we talked about some hidden costs as far as repairs and everything like that, but can you factor in, Sheila? I'm not speaking from one of my clients' perspectives, but do you have any clients to when they're going through a divorce, they're separating, right? And they may make a good wage. Thank you, Barbara. I'm just looking at my two beautiful sisters.
Barbara is so sweet.
I'm just looking at my two beautiful sisters. Hey, I get to see, like, Sheila's color is really popping today. I like it.
Yes,
I like it. Yeah.
You see that lifestyle shirt she's wearing?
Yeah,
I do.
nice.
It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, see? Wait.
No. What are you? What? We just
The
talked about
shirt,
baby
not
It
Spanish.
went down.
Not what's under.
It was so quick. So quick.
The shirt.
We talking about Vegas being a ghost town. She look like, I got you.
Let me show you.
Let me get the viewers. I'm gonna get people to jump on.
All right now. I done lost my train of thought.
Y'all know that was Michael Valdez and freestyle thing.
Oh man. Oh man.
Viral tonight.
And I'm over here trying not to get hot. I'm starting to glow. Our AC unit went out apparently.
Is that glow? You got the glazed donut look.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
like
glazing.
you oiled up or something.
You have to be right over there with Sheila.
But that's a good point though. Is and you brought it up is like when you're going through that situation and that separation and that AC go out.
Right.
Like there's something you want to tell us, Shante?
Right. No, we good.
I'm joking.
No, I'm walking
we are good.
Behave.
I already told you we'll end up unhappy in the same house. You go over there, I'm going down here, but we together for life.
I'm with you.
No, you're not. But
touche. I'm with you now. Moving forward, I'm with you.
Yeah, but I mean,
moving forward, like
for a house that large, like the AC is. I mean, you're looking. I mean, prior to COVID, you could have replaced one of those AC units for maybe $8,000. It's doubled that since COVID. So I mean, so now you're looking at trying to split 16,000.
Or go back to the window units.
Especially if it's just him staying there, we can do window unit. She'll be fine.
I mean, some industrial fans.
You'll survive.
Yep.
Man, you see, I got Barbara. Barbara wouldn't accept that. She wouldn't accept that. I know Barbara wouldn't allow that.
Never.
She would never.
Now, when we talk about the different processes and why somebody should have both an attorney and a real estate agent in this process, what's the importance of a real estate agent in this and when going through this? Can she borrow your beautiful earrings, Shante?
Yes. Give me your address and I'll send them. No, I think it's important to have a real estate agent because in that situation, they're not emotionally involved, so they can help you think out the process and not fall into the pitfalls and help you get back to what's important. We need to break out of this home potentially with the most equity as possible.
And then just navigate you through the process. I mean, this is a lot of times a lot of times it's somebody's first real estate transaction, and now it's the first time you're in a real estate transaction and you're separating. So it's a lot of stuff that's going to come at you during this process that you need somebody that's educated to assist you with.
They can give you a clear picture because, like Shante said, most times it's a very emotional journey that you're going through. So to lay out your options and different things that you can or maybe shouldn't do, they're able to help you with that and support you through those decisions if you have a professional like myself or Shante.
Yes.
Hey. There's 2 more people on this live stream.
And I wasn't done. That was the dramatic pause. We talked about that.
I got it.
And Sir Ashley and Danny Mullen as well.
Is that with an S or is it just Mullen?
That inside joke. Terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also I want you just something else to think about I say if you're thinking about separating and wanting to sell the house, I say
cheaper to keep her.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Some know better than others.
What was that, Danny? What was that? What did you say? Okay, we're not gonna get that.
Hey, Vivian and Chris, how y'all doing? From Charlotte. From
Oh,
Charlotte. How
I
you
heard
doing?
I missed Vivian and Chris when they came to the back to school thing.
They did. Yeah, you must have just left.
Oh.
No, she was still there. That's when I was grabbing a little bit that piece of chicken.
Oh, yes. We snuck away and got
No,
some chicken wings.
wait.
We snuck
Where?
away and got some chicken
Oh,
wings.
there's chicken wings
Yeah, that's what it was.
that you didn't invite anybody to.
Yeah.
Like the
Because they
guys
were for
just
their special diet.
all of a sudden you just seen
Like,
little
I don't know what
shoulders
diet
swapping
that
in the
is, but that
line.
was their special diet.
Yeah,
They
I ain't
didn't
had
invite
carbs in a month,
nobody.
So, okay.
I just
Real
seen
quick.
little wing bones in the trash can and they were clean.
Then with Sean.
That must have been, yeah, they weren't mine. Those weren't mine.
I did say those look like Sean's.
It was definitely Sean.
But if you're going to sell a house and you're married or thinking about getting divorced and all that stuff, sell the house while you're still married because of capital gains purposes and tax reasons and stuff like that. Individually, you have capital gains before it's tax. You have a 250,000, right? But if you're married, you can have $500,000 worth of equity and not pay any taxes on that up to 500,000 on the equity of the property. So again, you want to strategically. Sometimes people cut off their nose to spite their face, thinking, "I just want to hurry up and get divorced, and then we'll sell the house and do all that stuff." When, depending on your situation, it might not be the best way to go about it. You might want to hold off on that divorce until you sell the house.
Yeah, that's why you come to a real estate professional to let you know exactly what you need to do and how you need to do it, and be prepared for that. Because I mean, you get hit with that tax, and all your profits gone.
Yeah.
So what I just heard you say, that if your husband all of a sudden starts talking about we need to sell this home, that's like a red flag. Look at his face. You okay,
Man,
sir?
my internet going off?
It is.
I was like, is his internet gone? Like, I've never seen him that still.
I mean, I know AOL did send an update saying that they were finally getting rid of dial-up this month. You know,
I
I
was about
mean,
to send somebody over there. I said,
brother,
is
you
it
get my monthly fees?
like this?
Let's get high speed.
See, the thing is, I thought it was Shantae's computer, and I realized it was my computer.
My air conditioning ain't working, but my internet's going good.
Hey, look, this is the office internet. You just never know. You never know.
Lifestyle's taking some cutbacks. Okay.
Yeah. You might have your office manager find you another internet provider.
Who is that office manager?
Steve.
Oh man, I love y'all. I love y'all. I love you.
We can't get through one episode and
So I heard your thing about red flags, about like if your husband started talking about selling. I would say consider why.
if there's no reason, there's a reason.
They're like, where we moving to?
Exactly.
Are we moving together?
Start looking for attorneys.
How's gonna be
Preferably not Sir Ashley
the
Harrison.
woman's trip?
Okay, back on topic.
Barbara.
Barbara felt
Thank you,
it
Barbara.
too. No, she felt it.
What's the so most real estate agents have stories for days. What's the toughest situation you've personally helped a family through in terms of getting a divorce when selling a home?
For me, probably the one I mentioned earlier. that one, definitely.
So I have one that is not, it's not mine, but I hear everybody's story.
The
I mean,
disclaimer, it ain't me.
It
It
wasn't
ain't my
me.
fault. Why I do that?
It's not your
see,
personal story.
I'm asking for a friend. We ain't heard that before. I'm asking for
I meant,
somebody
I
else.
meant this is not my client. This is not my client.
Oh,
This
okay.
is not my client.
You
It
got to
is a
clarify.
situation. It actually is a lifestyle. Another lifestyle agent here in our office was dealt with this situation last year. Um, and it was real quick. Jocelyn, thank you for chiming in again. Like, I appreciate your comment last week. You definitely, like, I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you're in the Carolinas. But after your divorce, you waited a few years to rebuild your career financially and got new construction. Right here? Yes. Yes, Lord. I'm with it.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're talking about that real quick, I know we had like a sub meeting before. Um, if you own a home and sell that home, if you haven't owned a home in 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
you're technically considered a first time home buyer. So I just want everybody aware of that. Go ahead, Danny. You had something to say?
Yes. However, and a lot of people, they put that first time home buyers and they think you're getting something for free. A lot of times, a first time home buyer, the biggest thing you get is you purchased a house. I see a lot of real estate agents and agents across the country really pushing for some of these grants and loans. However, you have to make sure that your realtor has your best interest at heart and your family, because a lot of these gifts that they give you as that first time home buyer,
Mm-hmm.
it has strings attached, and
Mm-hmm.
some of these strings don't come off. So you need to make sure that your realtor is really engaged and understands and tells you exactly which programs you're signing up for, because some drop off in 3 years, some can drop off in 5, 15, but then there's some that stay on for the life of the loan, and you just
Mm-hmm.
have to pay it back at year 31. So just because
Mm-hmm.
you get something for free now, that doesn't mean it's free.
And that also goes for the down payment assistant. Sometimes that can be hooked on to the end of the loan. What sounds good is not always good. And you definitely should talk that through with your realtor.
I totally agree. Um, so back to the story. That's not my client or my story. Last year it was a couple divorcing, but at the same time, both parties were buying a house. And this agent
Mm.
represented the sale of the house, the marital house, and represented the husband and wife in their respective, or former husband and wife in their respective purchase. And when you talk about it being a cluster and like a whole bunch of moving pieces and everything, and just the animosity at times, because as you know, as the person that I guess mentor she's coming to regarding what should she do, how should she navigate it, it was a scenario that I had never seen or experienced because, again, we were neither one of them wanted to go to an apartment, so there wasn't like any holding period. So we really had like maybe 5 days in between the sale and then two purchases, but it took forever for the house to go under contract. Now this was in the Raleigh area at the time, but while we're waiting for the house to go under contract, you know, the yard still needed to be cut, lights, utilities still needed to be on. And at one point, they got turned off, so they had to get turned back on because your house isn't gonna, I'm not saying it's not gonna sell if it doesn't have utilities, but when somebody goes into the house, they're gonna want to know that the AC is working, lights are on, and various things like that. So,
Mhm.
like, it was very contentious. So that was I say, the craziest situation regarding this. I even had to go to Raleigh a few times to show the husband a home, which, yeah, it was hectic. It was hectic.
Hmm. Yeah, I've heard of cases where they're going through a divorce and it's time to show the house, and the other spouse will not clean, purposely leave dirty dishes and things, not take the trash out.
Yeah,
It gets
and then
ugly.
and then when you think about that, though, right? Like, some people can see past it, but they're going to want to be compensated for that, even though it might just be something like, as far as the stench, where once you take the trash out, the stench is going to be gone. But
Correct.
they don't know that for sure. They can
Mm-hmm.
assume it, but they're like, oh, that's an easy $7,000 off that asking price right there,
Easy.
right? So it's like you have to factor all those things in when you're presenting your house, trying to sell it, and then also think about those things, because I had never seen anything like where both parties, or one, the same realtor representing both the ex-husband and the ex-wife as they're trying to buy a home, as they just sold their home. That was, I mean, it was a nice payday for the agent, but the peace of mind, I don't know if it was worth it. And I
I
know
was gonna
Shantae would have been
say,
like, I was like, Shantae, you would have been like, I'm not taking
nah,
that.
that sounds like I need a therapist and a whole bottle of something to make it through this transaction. No, it's not worth it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was transactions. It was crazy. It was crazy.
And
Mm,
sometimes
Danny,
you have
any
to, you really have to sit back and say, is this transaction good for me? And
yeah.
know when to walk away, even though it's a payday at the end of the day. Like you have to make sure that one, you're doing what's best for your client as well as what's best for you. And if you're going to be
mm-hmm.
spread that thin and in that type of situation, giving one of those deals away is not the end of the world.
And you still
At
get a
all.
referral and all that stuff, right? But it's just, yeah, like, because you owe each one of those clients, you owe those clients a duty collectively to sell their home, right? But then you owe them a duty individually to where you can't share certain information, period, right? It just is what it is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it really was a very tricky situation. And I wasn't even part of it the entire time. I just stepped in to help the husband. I heard about it throughout, but I only stepped in to help the husband see a couple homes.
Yeah, and that can
Um,
be, like I said, that can be something that you mistakenly break that fiduciary responsibility with. Because
yeah,
you're just saying this name come through on this email and you respond
Mm-hmm.
back not realizing that maybe the other is attached or they're both attached and you're giving that other's information.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Very
And
easy
that's
to
why I
do.
was saying where it's not always in your best interest or anyone's best interest to handle that entire transaction.
no, I totally agree. In closing, what advice in 2, 3 sentences would you give, starting with you, whoever wants to start first, to give to somebody going through separation, thinking about separating, going through a divorce as they get ready to sell?
It's cheaper
I
to
would
keep.
say
No, go
that
ahead.
is 100% true. I would
Why is it
also
cheaper? Why is
say
it not cheaper to keep him?
Because they didn't
did he
make a song
cause
about
the
that.
issue?
I'm sorry, my fault. My fault. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Um, I would say divorces, separations, they're emotionally hard.
Yeah.
Get a realtor involved early in the process to help you work through those steps, like I said before, so that you don't fall in the pitfalls with the emotions. They can help drag you out of that. And I'll let somebody else add.
Well, I'm not gonna add because he already said it had to be like 2 or 3 like little sentences, and I've already maxed out. But I agree with Shantae. And getting a realtor involved early
Mm-hmm.
may hopefully cause less headache for you and your agent. Like Danny said, sometimes when it's messy like that, it's you can't pour from an empty glass. So let's try to navigate and get a game plan early, so that we can avoid hopefully conflict, chaos, confusion.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't come through the front door, come through the garage.
To avoid any conflict, chaos, and confusion.
And that's how we gonna end this. If you can't
Why y'all like this? Why? Why? Did we have a conversation before the podcast?
No, I guess, I mean, yeah, we can end it on that. I would just say, think about every scenario when you're going through this, and talk it over with. If you don't have a cordial relationship, to be able to talk it over with your partner, ex-partner, or whatever. Have that professional be that intermediary to be able to walk through these situations and scenarios, because inevitably they do come up when we talk about things that need to be done, rectified. Even if property goes under contract, and you get that due diligence request form, like, I know some parties are already expecting this, let's just say 300,000, they're expecting to spend, they already know what they're going to do with their 150. But then you get that due diligence request form where they're asking for 20, and now you're like, oh, I only got 140. And they're like, no, I'm not going to take less than that, or you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things we got to really factor in and talk and game plan. And what I say is war room it out, so you can have a better expectation and understanding of what may happen as you go through this. And Barbara says she's going through this, and her husband had a lot of properties.
I mean, that could be. I mean, now that's an even bigger issue. Is now you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with these properties. And not only just that one that you're living in, but the rest of them. Are you going to now be the one that has to refinance these all out to pay?
Yes, you're going to have to refinance all them investment properties. And let's say you got it during COVID when the interest rate was lower, and now you're getting it at the 6.5% or 7%. It's not as.
No, I mean, as an investor right now, investor loans, if the regular person is at 6.5, investment loans is at 7.5, 7.25. Yeah. Like, so it's something that could cash flow easily in the 2s, 3s, 4s. It may not cash flow with the increase in taxes that we just had, and with the increase in now the interest payment and all that. Like, does it make sense to refinance?
I mean,
right? Like, are you going to cash flow it?
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at 7. You're looking at maybe a possibility of anywhere between, on average, refinancing right now to buy that spouse out. You're looking at losing maybe, I would say, anywhere between $600 to $1,000 in cash flow. And now that property is no longer a cash flowing property.
Yeah.
So it goes back to it's cheaper to keep her.
Come back next week. What's your favorite thing, Shantae? There's more of that next week or something like that. What were you saying earlier today?
I don't even know if I had a famous saying. What are you talking about?
You said something like earlier today. Hold on. I got it.
I think the note for the day is it's cheaper to keep her. Get you a real estate agent early in the process. Yes, Crown Keys. And if you have some commercial properties, our Sheila is excellent at handling that.
Please call me. Please.
We will be back here next week. 5:30-ish, 5:30 to 6 o'clock, depending on what we have going on. We'll be back next week. And so, quick sneak peek for what we are going to be doing moving forward. Do you want to announce it, Shantae? What we're going to be doing every week moving forward?
We really want to take the time to explore the different areas from Charlotte and surroundings, so that we'll do some home tours comparing the price point in particular areas.
So, Miss Barbara, home tours are coming back.
Yes, Miss Barbara.
Home tours, and then a deep dive in the areas, to where it's not just what we have been doing is comparing. We've spent part of the podcast comparing different areas and houses in different areas. We're going to be doing apples to apples as far as homes that are available in a certain community in Charlotte, whether a neighborhood in Charlotte or a suburb of Charlotte, and then bringing that to you and talk about that area. So we're going to do a different one every week, and the coming attraction, the pros, the cons of all that, not just what's on niche, what was actually happening and seeing it on the ground. That's what we're going to be doing every Monday, moving on to help people that are in this area, just not familiar with other places in this area, but then also people relocating to the Charlotte area. We want to be that resource, that guide for you all, and give you some insight to what exactly you're paying for and what that dollar amount could cost in certain areas.
I
So
look forward to it.
everybody's contact information is in the comment section. Feel free to reach out to us. Thank y'all for rocking with us. Y'all stay, but to those out there, we will see y'all next week.